Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Right now, while you're watching this, the money sitting in your savings account is probably losing value. Not the number might even be slowly ticking up, but what that money can actually buy is shrinking quietly every single day. Here's the part that stings. You did the responsible thing, you saved, you resisted the urge to spend, you build up a cushion exactly like you were told to, and the bank is quietly rewarding that discipline by paying you almost nothing while inflation eats away at your money in the background. Let me give you one number that should make you a little angry. The average savings account in America right now pays about 0.38% a year, and some of the biggest, most famous banks in the country, the ones with their names on stadiums, pay as little as 0.01%. That means on $10,000, they pay you $1 for the entire year. $1. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how your savings account loses you money, the difference between the number going up and your money actually growing, and the simple fixes that can turn this around without taking on any real risk. This isn't about being reckless with your money. It's about not letting the bank quietly take advantage of you. Let's get into it. The number goes up, but you're losing. Let's start with the core idea, because once you understand this, you can't unsee it. There are two different things happening to your money at the same time, and they pull in opposite directions. The first is interest. Your bank pays you a little bit of interest, so the number in your account slowly rises. That feels like growth. The number is going up, so you must be winning, right? The second thing is inflation. Every year, prices rise. The same groceries, the same gas, the same rent cost a little more than they did last year. So each dollar you own buys a little less than it used to. Your real return, thing that actually matters, or is the interest you earn minus inflation. And here's the problem. If your savings account pays 0.38% and inflation is running around 3%, then your real return is negative. You're earning less than 0.3%, while your money loses about 3% of its buying power. Do the math and you're going backward by more than 2% a year, even though the number on your screen went up. That's the trap. The rising number creates an illusion of growth while your actual wealth quietly erodes. You feel like a saver. The bank has turned you into a slow-motion loser of purchasing power. And most people never notice because the number never goes down, it just buys less and less. What inflation actually does over time, let me make this concrete, because losing 2% a year might not sound like much. Over time, it's brutal. Say you have $10,000 sitting in a typical savings account. And let's say your money loses roughly 2 to 3% of its buying power each year after you account for the tiny interest. After 1 year, that $10,000 buys what about $9,700 used to. Annoying, but survivable. After 5 years, it's closer to $8,600 or $8,700 in real terms. After 10 years, your $10,000, the same $10,000, the number barely changed, buys what about $7,500 used to buy today. You've lost a quarter of your money's power without ever making a single withdrawal. And this gets worse the more you save and the longer you leave it. The disciplined person who keeps $50,000 parked in a big bank savings account for a decade could effectively lose over $10,000 of purchasing power to inflation, $10,000 gone as a reward for being careful with money. This is the cruel irony of the whole thing. The more responsible you are, the more you save and the longer you hold it, the more the low interest rate costs you. Inflation is a silent tax on cautious people, and almost nobody sends you a bill for it. You just slowly get poorer while feeling like you're doing everything right. The honest part, not all savings accounts are the same. Now here's where I have to be honest with you, because a lot of finance channels oversimplify this and I won't. It's not that savings accounts are evil, it's that the wrong savings account is quietly robbing you, while the right one is actually doing fine right now. Here's the current reality. While the average account pays 0.38%, and big banks pay 0.01%, there's a whole category called high-yield savings accounts that currently pay around 4% or more. Same FDIC insurance, same safety, same instant access to your money. The only difference is the bank. And at 4% with inflation around 3%, that high-yield account is actually earning you a small positive real return right now. Your money is roughly keeping pace with, or even slightly beating, inflation. That's a genuinely good place for cash you need to keep safe and accessible. So the villain of this story isn't savings accounts, it's specifically the low-interest big brand savings account paying you next to nothing. If your money is sitting in one of those, you are leaving real money on the table for no reason, often just because it's the bank you've always used and switching feels like a hassle. Let me put the gap in dollars. $10,000 at 0.01% earns you $1 a year. That same $10,000 at 4% earns you about $400 a year. 400 versus 1. Same money, same safety, same access. The only thing standing between you and that extra $399 is a switch most people never make. Fix number 1, move to a high-yield savings account. So the first fix is the easiest, highest value money move most people are ignoring right now. If your cash is in a traditional low-interest savings account, move it to a high-yield savings account. These are mostly offered by online banks, which don't have the expensive branch networks, so they pass the savings on to you as higher interest. They're FDIC, insured up to $250,000, exactly like any other bank. Your money is just as safe. You can still transfer it out in a day or two whenever you need it. Opening one takes about 10 minutes online. You link it to your existing checking account, move your savings over, and immediately start earning many times more interest, often several $100s a year more on a normal balance, for essentially zero effort and zero added risk. This is genuinely one of the rare free money moves in personal finance. There's no catch, no lockup, no gamble. You're just refusing to let a big bank pay you $1 when another equally safe bank will pay you $400. If you do nothing else after this video, do this. One thing to watch: high yield rates do move up and down with the broader interest rate environment. They're around 4% now, but they were higher a couple of years ago and could drift lower if rates fall. That's fine. Even a lower high yield rate crushes what a big bank pays. The point is to stop accepting near zero. Fix number 2, know what savings is actually for. Here's the second fix, and it's about using the right tool for the right job. Even a great high-yield savings account is not a wealth-building tool. It's a safety tool. Its job is to protect money you might need soon, not to grow your wealth over decades. And confusing those two jobs is where a lot of people quietly lose out. So what should actually live in savings? 3 things. Your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses you can grab instantly if life goes sideways. That belongs in high-yield savings, full stop. Safety and access matter more than growth for that money. Money for short-term goals, anything you'll spend in the next couple of years. A vacation, a wedding, a car, a home down payment. You don't want that money in the stock market where it could drop right before you need it. High-yield savings is perfect, and a small buffer for the unexpected, a little cushion beyond your checking account for surprise expenses. That's it. That's what savings is for. Money you need to be safe and available. For that money, a high-yield savings account is exactly right, and you should feel good about it. The problem isn't having savings. The problem is having too much of your money in savings, money that isn't for emergencies or near-term goals, money you won't touch for 5, 10, 20 years, sitting in cash when it should be somewhere it can actually grow. Fix number 3, move your long-term money to investments, which brings us to the third fix, the one that actually builds wealth. Any money you won't need for at least 5 years does not belong in a savings account at all, not even a high-yield one. It belongs invested. Here's why. We said a high-yield savings account at 4% roughly keeps pace with inflation. Keeping pace is fine for your emergency fund. But keeping pace means your money isn't really growing. It's just not shrinking. For your long-term money, you don't want to tread water. You want it to grow. Historically, a broad stock market index fund has returned around 8 to 10% a year over long periods. Compare that to a savings account treading water against inflation. Over decades, that difference is staggering. Let me show you. Say you put $10,000 into a high-yield savings account and leave it for 30 years, roughly keeping pace with inflation. In real terms, you've basically still got your $10,000 of buying power. It was safe, it did its job, but it didn't grow. Now take that same $10,000 and invest it in a broad index fund earning around 8% over those same 30 years. It grows to roughly $100,000. Same money, same starting point, 30 years, and the gap between them is around $90,000. That is the true cost of leaving long-term money in cash, not the small annual erosion, the enormous growth you never captured. And this doesn't mean anything complicated. And for most people, investing this money means putting it into a low-cost, broad market index fund inside a retirement account like a Roth IRA or 401k or a regular brokerage account. Same simple strategy we talk about on this channel all the time. The point today is just this: recognize which of your dollars are long-term dollars and stop letting them sit in cash where they'll never grow. Putting it all together. So let's put the whole picture together because it's genuinely simple once you see it. Your money has different jobs, and each job has a right home. Money you might need this week or this month lives in checking. That's for spending, not earning. Money you might need in the next few years, like your emergency fund, your short-term goals, lives in a high-yield savings account, earning around 4% safely, keeping pace with inflation, ready when you need it. And money you won't need for 5 years or more lives invested in index funds, growing at a rate that actually builds wealth over time. The mistake almost everyone makes is putting all their money in one bucket, usually a low-interest savings account, where the short-term money earns too little and the long-term money never grows. You fix that by simply sorting your dollars by when you'll need them and moving each one to where it belongs. That's the whole thing. Move your cash to high yield, keep only what you need there, invest the rest. 3 moves and you go from quietly losing money to actually building it. Here's the bottom line. If your money is sitting in a traditional savings account paying next to nothing, it is losing you money quietly every day to inflation. The rising number is an illusion. Your real wealth is shrinking. But this is one of the most fixable problems in all of personal finance. Move your safe money to a high-yield savings account and start earning many times more with the same safety and access. Keep only your emergency fund and short-term money there, and take your long-term money, the dollars you won't touch for years, and put them somewhere they can actually grow. The banks are counting on you not to notice. They're counting on inertia, on the hassle of switching, on the comfort of the familiar. Every day you leave your money in a near zero account is a day you're paying for that comfort with your own wealth. You worked hard for this money. Don't let it quietly slip away while it sits still. Put every dollar in the job it's meant for and let it work as hard for you as you worked for it. If this opened your eyes to what your savings account is really doing, do me a favor and subscribe. Net Worth Nation is for people who are done letting their money sit still and ready to actually put it to work safely and starting from wherever they are. Drop a comment below. Be honest. Is your money in a big bank savings account right now, or have you already made the switch to high yield? And if this pushed you to finally move it, let me know. I read every single comment, and if you know someone with a big pile of cash sitting in a near zero savings account, share this video with them. You might just hand them a few $100s a year they didn't know they were missing. I'll see you in the next one. Let's build.